King James Virgin, where each and every week my friends Alan and Adam recount Bible stories from their childhoods to me. I've never heard them before. My name is Nick.
I'm Alan.
And Adam is my name.
Oh, yes, it sure is.
That's a factual statement.
Adam is my name. I feel like it's some kind of
And Adam was his name. Oh,
right. Happy year-versary, guys.
It's been real.
yeah. I mean, I guess this will probably come out a few weeks after, but yes, for us, our 52nd episode.
We are recording this on roughly the year anniversary of the first release of our first episode.
Right, correct.
So technically, we started doing this like a year and a month ago.
Give or take. Yeah.
But fuck it. It's our anniversary.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We've got the chocolate, we've got the wine, we've got the flowers. We're getting laid.
Send your gifts to dearjesus@kingjamesvirgin.com.
Yes.
Ooh.
I'm hoping for some edible arrangements.
Oh,
Also, come sponsor
like
us.
some dingleberries.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Anyway, so
This better be an extra special episode. No pressure.
I'm not going to say it's extra well, no, I take that back. It is because it's one of two books of the Bible named after a woman.
Right.
Okay.
We're
Seems
doing
notable.
We're doing the story of Ruth.
Okay.
Not
So,
Esther. We've done that.
Yeah, so I guess that makes it like pretty special.
Yeah.
Because like after this, we're done. There's no more women in the Bible.
None.
I mean, we've covered them.
Everybody else is barren.
There are no barren women in the story.
She's not barren.
Impressive.
Yeah. Well, no, she isn't. No, that's right. This is this is a very special story.
Yeah.
I mean, the land is barren.
That's true.
Something's got to be barren.
Right.
Yeah, the land.
Yeah. Like literally the land was like, there are no barren women. Well, I'll be barren.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. You shall get nothing from me.
Yeah.
And that segues us perfectly into how this story begins. Is the land was barren.
Yeah.
Don't you want to ask me what I know about Ruth?
Oh, yeah.
you know
what do
about Ruth?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, cool. The land was barren.
I kind of assume, unless there's like a sparkle in your eye or you have like a Neil Gaiman book on the table.
Yeah, I got nothing. Famous Ruths. Are there any? RBG, Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Ruth. I have an aunt or had an aunt whose name was Ruth. She's passed.
Yeah, I feel like it's a common name for an
aunt.
older generation.
I mean,
Maybe coming
there's-
back around now.
There's Babe.
Oh, Babe Ruth. Right.
Got it.
I was thinking the pig.
Me too.
I was like, was the pig's name?
I was like, well, I never saw Pig
there
in the
no
City.
other-
Is
Yeah.
that clarified?
Are there no other famous Ruths? Ruths. There's the weirdly punctuated Ruth's Chris
Steakhouse.
Yeah.
There's Babe Ruth. There's a candy bar, but it's named after, I'm assuming, the baseball player.
Baby Ruth.
Baby Ruth. The daughter of Schmidt and Cece in New Girl's name is Ruth.
I don't care.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm just trying to come up with something.
Sure.
Ruth.
Sure. I went to school with Ruth.
Okay.
The Ruth.
I feel like it's a nondescript
Actually,
older woman's name.
the sisters I went to school with were Ruth and Esther. So
Wow.
two girls in the family.
That would have been similar to if my parents had named my sister Eve, which people always assumed and also is weird and
That's
creepy.
gross.
Yuck.
Though
Yuck.
their brother was
Boaz.
another Bible name. Who you know?
What was it?
What would they have done if
was
they
it-
had a third
So-
daughter?
Abortion.
Shit. That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking, but I was like, well, I can't say that. So apparently I've been passed as the inappropriate one.
Well, I mean,
So should we jump on into this one?
yeah, please.
Okay.
Please move us along.
The land was barren.
We've covered that.
And so there's a dude named Elimelech.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Pretty good.
It's
Say that again.
Elimelech.
Okay. Do you know how to spell that?
Or is it Abimelech or Elimelech?
Elimelech.
Elimelech. There's an Abimelech as well, right?
Elimelech
Yeah.
high, Elimelech ho.
Correct. Elimelech is I'm assuming, well, it's got to be tribe of Benjamin. It's got to be.
He is.
So yeah. So he's in Judah. He's a tribe of Benjamin. He has a wife named Naomi. She's named as well.
Just nailing it so far. Yeah, we got named women in this story. Whoa.
And also Elimelech did not carry on the name. Well, he also didn't do much. Anyway, there's a famine. The land is not doing well. So they move, and I don't know how far it is, but they move to Moab.
Okay.
Right?
And Moab is described as being like far.
Yeah, it is. But isn't Moab
Would you guys
across
like
the
to
lake?
guess how far Moab is?
50 kilometers.
This is the most work I put into this story of like drawing maps and like using
nice.
the key on Google Maps, like making a little shape that was like 100 kilometers and like.
Can you get there like as the eagle flies? Is that possible?
Oh yeah. Do you have to go through
really.
path?
It's
passes.
There's the Dead Sea.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm saying 50 kilometers basically across the Dead Sea.
You can do it in kilometers or miles, Nick. I have both.
I'm going to do 752 cubits.
I don't know how long that is. We do have another unit of measure in this story, though, that I'm very excited to talk
all right.
about.
Is it a Gaylord?
No, it's a Wang.
God.
So
Actually, I don't know what it is.
the country of Moab, or the community, city-state, I don't know.
County?
The something of Moab. The land of Moab.
There you go.
Was just across the Dead Sea.
Okay, so
And it's in the western, the country of Jordan is like a diamond-ish.
Okay.
It's in the western tip of that.
Okay.
And it occupies like a quarter of the country of Jordan. So minimum, it was 65 miles or 100 kilometers away. Maximum, it was 120 miles or 200 kilometers away.
okay.
So that's roughly them going the great distance of Milwaukee to Chicago.
Oh, yeah. I've done that run.
I mean, it's like,
I guess on foot that would be impressive.
it's like half as far as Seattle to Portland.
right.
It's like,
They got to Chehalis.
yes,
From either direction, they got to Chehalis.
that is a local reference.
Yeah.
Local jokes for local folks.
Yeah.
So not far.
No.
I guess
like-
0.2 miles.
Oh, did you? 0.2, not 2 point.
Nope.
2.2. 2.
0.2.
0.2.
But it'd be like,
All right.
yeah, I married a girl from a far country from, Milwaukee.
Right.
Right.
I
Like, you'll never see your family again.
my air quotes first air quotes girlfriend.
Wait, is it?
Well, I guess I did.
Is
The
it
first
is
didn't need to be in quotes.
Wait,
but
was she Canadian?
no.
from Milwaukee? Wait,
Nope.
Did she exist?
That's a
She
valid
existed.
question.
okay.
Yeah, totally valid question. Was from the town of Dundee, Illinois.
Excellent.
And I misheard her and told everybody that I was dating somebody from the West Indies.
What? That is a mishear that can only happen in the early 90s.
Totally.
Like, how is your mishear like sort of not PC?
Right. Yeah.
Also, were you in front of, like, did you see her in person?
Yeah. Yeah. It was an in-person relationship.
Huh.
And
Shout out
she
to
just, like,
Lauren Baylog.
She just went home to the West Indies.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Mr.
Oh, no, I think like
Columbus.
originally.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was thinking like her commute was insane.
Yeah.
I guess a couple of my close friends were from Guam and were like pretty pasty.
As in they grew up in Guam?
Yeah, they were born there.
Because they were like military? Not SM, but missionary.
Yeah, missionary.
Got it.
I would like to clarify that I am a much better listener now, unless it is this show.
Fair enough.
You can. I do not blame you for tuning out these Bible fun facts at all.
But that is.
There will be a quiz later.
I didn't realize how. Like I assumed that Moab wasn't that far, but I didn't realize it was. I guess on foot with an oxen or a horse or whatever, or donkey.
On foot, total pain in the ass.
Sure.
65 miles?
What is
yeah,
that?
Yeah, but it's like, it's not that big of a deal.
I'm trying to think. Like, let's say, how fast can you walk? Like 5 miles an hour?
Okay. How big of a deal does the Bible make it seem like?
Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Okay.
Hold on one second. We're taking a pause.
Like conceptually, he leaves. Like he uproots his family and leaves like his home country to go elsewhere. Like it's around the idea of like. It's like American frontier. Like I am, a New Yorker who I'm going to go like settle the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Like that's
we'll
the
never
way
see you again.
Right.
There's no chance of
Right.
that happening.
Okay, so to put it in context, how much did I say it was?
50 or 200.
65 to 120 miles. The Oregon Trail, or like Lewis and Clark,
Yeah.
for the American audience, was over 2,000 miles. So
But
like,
that would take you how many months?
USA.
I'm just saying, like,
Pre-USA.
Right, yeah.
It's sort of a territory.
I'm just saying, like, that's
Yeah.
that's like a famous journey.
Right. Well,
Right,
and,
yeah,
well, like
yeah.
while you were looking up,
65 miles is not far.
no, and while you were looking up, I was saying to Nick, like it was that's the impression that I always got. It was like a New Yorker going, like, I'm going to go settle the Dakotas. Like take
I've
the Oregon
hiked
Trail.
20 miles in a day.
Sure. I'll reiterate. It's a pain in the ass on foot.
Sure.
Well, and that, like, Alan, if they were to keep your trek, that would take them at least a week.
Or 3 days. 65 miles.
Yeah.
I thought it was 100 miles or 200 miles.
Kilometers.
Oh, that's what I was stuck in Kilometerville.
Anyway,
It doesn't matter.
it's a big deal in the Bible. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
That's the point.
They go to Moab and they've got 2 kids, which I can't remember the names of, but I know that Alan.
Yeah. So the sons are Malon or Malon and Chilion.
Okay.
Yeah, Malin and Jillian. And they settle in Moab. The 2 sons are grow up there and marry 2 local women, Ruth, our like titular person.
Yep.
And it's not Oprah, but it's Orpah.
It is Orpah.
Okay. Like, also Orpah doesn't really like figure very, like this is about all you're going to hear about Orpah.
Okay. Wait, let's take a moment to acknowledge
Orpah.
Okay, let's move on.
So Elimelech dies. He dies.
Okay.
And
It does not say how.
And not long after, the sons both die as well. And around this time,
So I should stop you here that the sons' names. So the fact that they like get there and then they die, the names Malon means sickness and Chilion means wasting, which means that like either their parents were shitty or this is like more literature and fiction. And these are like characters made to illustrate a point.
this is a bullshit like Remus Lupin thing.
Yes.
So
Please explain that to Nick.
I have a huge. That's right. You don't.
Not a Harry Potter child.
Harry Potter thing. I have a huge problem with literature where the author will use predictive naming where they're basically the name of the character somehow defines or is like around a description of the character. So like Remus Lupin is a character where he's named Remus Lupin. Lupin is his family name, and he's eventually a werewolf, but he doesn't become a werewolf until he's bitten as a child.
It's not a family of werewolves.
No werewolves in the family tree.
Correct.
Yeah.
But his name is Remus, which is one of the Jupiter moons. Remus and Romulus are one of the moons. Anyway, they're moons. And then Lupin, obviously the scientific name for dogs. It's like you've built in, like if he wasn't a werewolf, like you just named your kid werewolf who isn't a werewolf.
It's a bullshit move.
Yeah, I fucking hate shit like that. And anyway, that's what this is.
Harry Potter is a famous Potter, though, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
the magic pots.
Does he make one pot in the books?
No.
Oh, come on, dude.
Mostly vases.
Okay.
There's no pottery, I believe, in a single book.
Just weird,
Right?
weird Adam fact.
Adam fact.
My one piece of comedy that I got published in the school newspaper when I was in college was a satirical piece entitled Harry Pottery.
Okay.
And it was a rewriting of essentially the first book as if he was a Potter.
Aww.
It was basically just like different ceramics references.
All downhill from there, huh?
Well, I mean, not published. So yes, until this.
It's your big comeback, baby.
Yeah. So be expecting some really good
Okay. Great.
ceramics works
Thanks for the nice
at some
tease.
point. Anyway,
So it turns out Remus is a moon in an asteroid belt. I don't know what makes a moon and an asteroid different, but Remus and Romulus. But the wolf connection, besides, it's okay, yes, it is a moon, but also Romulus and Remus were
brothers.
They were suckled by a she-wolf.
Oh,
So there's like another wolf connection.
fuck me. Okay.
Yeah, no thank you. So yeah, that's like a triple moon name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still, I mean, my position
still
holds.
be
It sucks.
upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the whole point being they get there and they die.
They die.
Great.
And at
as
this-
they were predestined to.
Apparently.
Yes.
Maybe
By the
Elimelech
author.
means like dude who travels then dies.
It does not say that.
At this point, around this time, news reaches them that Judah's famine is over and it's basically fine to go back. And they have family land there. Like basically when they left, they didn't abandon, like they abandoned their place, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And Naomi is like, okay, my husband's gone. My kids are gone. I'm going to move back home. And she then tells Ruth and Orpah, you don't have to come with me. My sons are dead. You don't have any responsibility. Stay here. These are your people. And Orpah takes her up on it and says like, thank you. I'm going to stay here. So this is why Orpah is done. But Ruth is like, no, like I feel I'm part of the family. I'm going to come with you. We're going to move back to Judah. So they do.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like I need to stop you because like, yeah, Orpah pieces out, but like Ruth saying she's going to go with her is maybe the most important part of the whole book.
Sure.
Do you remember some content from that.
Why is it? I just figured, is this a thing?
Oh, Adam, you're going to kick yourself in a second.
Oh, no.
For wherever you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people. Your God, my God.
Yeah,
Where you die, I will die.
Yeah, she just like becomes her.
It's probably one of the nicer, like more poetic sections, and I'm ashamed of Adam for not remembering it.
Now that you say it, I do remember it. It didn't land.
It's also what sets Ruth up to be this like kind person.
Yeah,
because that's important.
Kind and loyal and like
and hot. Those are her defining characteristics.
The hot comes up.
We've
later.
not gotten there yet.
No, we'll get there.
But I will also say that the kindness is as important as the hotness.
Right.
No. I mean,
and given geography, they are probably warm.
Both forms of hot.
Likely. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. In all senses of the word.
Yeah.
So they get back to Judah, and there's a couple of things that have to happen.
Did they make a big deal out of this journey as well?
Not at all.
Okay.
The big deal is the fact that
Elimelech, it made a big deal out of it.
Right. I was going to say, was it the dudes that were like, oh,
but yeah, like sickness and like wayfish over here. Like
the big deal is that she's foreign. So
Ruth is.
It's the Chicagoans saying be like, these guys from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Classic. And so they get back. Naomi wants to basically
middling accent at best.
Yes.
I wasn't really going for it. It just came out.
Yeah, it did.
I'm neither proud nor ashamed.
I couldn't tell if it was on purpose or if it just flowed.
It exists.
Okay.
I was Kansan.
Oh boy, let's stop.
I can't. I don't know why I tried. So they get back. Naomi really basically goes back to her house that they still have the land, but because this is when it was and around. Do you remember we were talking about earlier? I think was it last episode? A couple episodes ago, we were talking about how no, it wasn't. It's going to be on a piece on the Patreon. That's why
I wasn't paying attention for a second.
No, it doesn't matter. So there's a piece on the Patreon that you can that I go into this a little more deeper, but there's a thing where if the eldest brother dies.
Oh yeah, right.
The next brother down is like kind of required to take over as head of the family.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to interrupt you for a second because this just popped into my head as we were doing our terrible Chicago accents. In the classic Blues Brothers, full tank of gas, sunglasses on. That's 106 miles. And again,
all right.
And again, it's only 65 to 120 miles.
Right.
So not that far.
They're
not on foot though.
I have to keep referencing Chicago apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's a 75 it's a 75% Blues Brothers full tank glasses on.
They just have sunglasses?
Correct.
Okay.
Anyway, so they get back, and because of this whole thing where the patriarch has to basically the women don't have any claim to the land by themselves, and so for Naomi to basically move back into it, she needs to form a relationship with a male cousin essentially of her former husband, or not her past husband, and she's like, I'm too old, but Ruth, this could be like, you can do this. And we could get the house back, and if we get the house back, it's apparently like a really good piece of land. Like it's still known as like.
Seems like it's worth. It's not worthless.
No, but it actually seems like it has like high value because this is a thing. Because there's a guy named Boaz who is like the Gaston of this little town.
That's not fair. He seems like a good guy.
Okay, Gaston if he wasn't a dick, because he's like,
so
he's
not Gaston.
Well, yeah,
but he's hunky.
You're taking a lot out of Gaston.
He's hunky. He's beefy. He's all the girls want him.
Sure.
Like he's
top heavy,
very top heavy.
But, yeah, he's a bit of a Chad. Is that what we're talking about?
No, because Chad. I think here's the thing. I think Gaston gets a bad rap. We got a Gaston defender on the show. Not a Gaston defender. I think he's got some problems, but I think that
he peaked in high school.
For sure. But like, I don't think he's a Chad. Like Boaz seems like he's a nice guy, but he's also like hunky, beefy, hot.
So are we talking like a Justin Trudeau?
Sure.
Of his small town?
I'm trying to think of an actual.
I'm really excited for you to come up with a
thing.
Celebrity metaphor for this.
I was going to go like Captain America-y.
I was like, just in my mind, Josh Groban. He's a real Josh Groban. He's nice, but he's successful.
But Josh Groban is not hunky.
Does seem like a dick to me.
He can swoon you out of your pants.
I think he's a dick and he's not hunky.
All right, teach their own.
Whatever. Regardless, this guy, he is a catch.
Okay.
There is a practice going on that if you are a widow, you are allowed to follow behind the people who are harvesting and basically pick up whatever they leave behind.
Okay.
And I think it's called gleaning.
Yeah. Correct.
And the idea being that like this is a way for you to give back to your community. You just leave some behind, and the widows behind collect it, so that they can eat.
Okay.
This is like early socialism. Or not socialism. Early like social. Social
And like
services.
you don't have to really try. Just like don't do the job fully and leave some of it.
I feel like social services is a bit of a reach because it would just be compost.
Right.
Like they're not doing someone a favor.
No, if anything, you can make an argument that they're actually just doing more of the work. But
I mean, it is like less evil than
saying no.
What is it like J. Crew?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
burning clothes. So that people don't take them out of their dumpster.
Yeah, the rule of law here would be like you are allowed to shoot them if they try and pick that up.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a step above that.
Great.
So Ruth is doing this, and she basically like positions herself throughout this gleaning process so that Boaz can see her.
So no, she's just doing her thing.
You sure?
And he's like, "What hot young woman
who's this
is
hottie?
that?" No,
Who's this foreign hottie?
It says she goes to the fields, she gleans. They have talked about Boaz in defense of what you just said, but Boaz says to his servants, "Whose young woman is this?"
But so your recollection is that she's like putting on a show.
Not putting on a show, just that she is
aware of him
and is making him aware of her, not necessarily in a showy way, but in a way that like whatever. It doesn't matter. He finds out that there's this
narratively. I like it.
Yeah,
it's a fun thing to be like.
Exactly.
Okay. So she knows he exists and is purposely going to his field because he is a hot relative.
Maybe that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah. But then he notices.
Wait, but he's a hot. He's a hot relative, but also she needs.
Correct.
She needs a relative.
So this is where I think I'm adding in like
it's like a little bit of both.
Because like she's purposely going to his to kind of hope that that connection can
but
be
then
made.
He notices her
right
and finds out that she's a hot relative
right
and someone who's been very kind to his aunt
or cousin in some depending on how that relationship works.
I also really
cousin's
like
wife.
Yeah. I just so like finally a hot relative.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, that's the Bible for you.
Yep. And so he instructs his people to basically like drop more.
Okay. Yeah.
Like just give her more.
He tells the men not to rape her.
Right. Which is,
okay. Good for
again,
him.
a step above.
Great.
I mean,
yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Hooray, biblical feminism.
Woo.
Let me see. Actually, let me see if give me a second.
I will say they skipped that part when it was being told as a kid. It was like and then they like drop more for them. It's like, oh, this is so cool. These guys. It's like,
well, you skipped it.
They skipped the part where I didn't realize that was
Ugh.
He says, "Have I not commanded the young men not to touch you?" I mean, that's what that means, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he also says you can drink from the vessels they have drawn.
I'm guessing like you.
So he's addressing her.
Correct. Well,
like
so
she knows that
we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit there.
Well, not really,
but yeah. I'm assuming in that case it's basically like the Gleaners wouldn't be able to drink the water that like they had provided. It'd be like being able to like these are the like go ahead and use the bathrooms, use the water. It's fine.
Right.
That kind of thing.
He's letting a non-customer use his bathroom.
Right.
Yeah. Never.
So essentially, and I don't remember who approaches who, if he approaches her first or she approaches him, but somebody approaches one of them.
He approaches her. So he sees her in the field,
all this,
asks a servant about her, and then he goes and talks to her.
I couldn't remember.
And says like, "Hey, I've told my guys not to rape you.
Yeah.
Also, you can use my bathroom.
Yeah, use the bathroom.
My hero."
And she's like, "Exactly. Oh my god."
And this kind of continues for a little bit.
She fell on her face and bowed down. So that's like
low bar.
The bar's so low. There's no bar.
There is no bar. So this happens for a little bit.
Yes.
And then eventually, and I'm going to skip ahead because I don't remember how the transition happens, but eventually he gets blowies in the barn.
Okay. So I'll 100% agree.
Smash cut 2.
Blowies in the barn.
Yeah, 100% agree. It gets saucy. And like,
this is also was very much like shaved, like the edges of this were shaved when it was being told.
Absolutely. Well,
weird phrasing right now. Like they were also shaved. It was also shaved.
I'm shaving things. I'm
probably not.
No.
So when like there's like a kids animated movie.
Yeah.
And they put in references that are 100% for the grown-ups. So
Yeah.
it like keeps them,
Yeah.
it keeps their attention. And as a kid, like you don't care.
Yeah,
Of course.
So this is one of those things that like you just don't quite get until you're a grown-up. So she goes back to Naomi and tells her about like this Boaz guy. He's super nice to me.
The dudes aren't going to rape me.
It's great. I can use the bathroom. And Naomi's like, here's the plan. So he's been gleaning the field all day. He's super tired. It's harvest.
Wait, he's gleaning in the field?
So he's harvesting.
He's like
Okay, yeah,
He's
right.
like harvesting.
So he's just like 18-hour days. He's tired.
He's super tired. He's winnowing barley tonight at the threshing floor. Therefore, wash yourself and anoint yourself. Put on your best garment and go down to the threshing floor. So he's actually like threshing the wheat.
Yeah.
You know, just like he's beating it with a bunch of dudes.
Right.
And
Circle jerk of.
that's kind of what this book is about.
Yeah.
And
But, I mean, and to be fair, like, just knowing how, like in Walla Walla, we actually, like, there's a big wheat farming community, and like they'd harvest all day, and then as soon as like sunset, they would actually take that wheat and then be like going through like it's like crazy days when they're actually harvesting. So like presumably he is actually
just a bunch of dudes beating it all night. Correct. So they're done threshing, and he eats and drinks, and then Ruth like sneaks in.
Okay.
It doesn't say this, but he basically like is super tired and eats and drinks and passes out just like on the grain.
right, like
With a bunch of dudes in the room.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that fact.
Who are also all passed out?
Yes.
Or
Presumably, yeah.
So this is going back to the Bible. When he lies down, you shall notice the place where he lies, and you shall go in, uncover his feet, lie down, and he will tell you what you should do. That's glossed over. And after Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was cheerful.
I like that the foreplay in this is taking off his shoes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Oh, that comes back. He went to lie down at the end of a heap of grain. She came softly, uncovered his feet, and lay down. Now it happened at midnight. The man was startled, turned himself, and there a woman was lying at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" And Nick, you're like this. She answered, "I am Ruth, your close relative." I mean, I skipped a little bit,
Yeah,
but
that's how you get the juices flowing.
Yeah. It's like, all right, my hot
All
relative.
right.
so Adam, chime in.
yeah.
But like, we were very, like, we were always told that she lied down at his feet.
Correct.
And as a kid, you're like, okay, she slept across the foot of his bed, whatever.
Yeah.
As an adult, you're like,
Oh,
yeah,
blows in the hayloft.
Right.
absolutely.
Which is biblically bad.
Well,
Yes.
So here's the thing.
Well, he's supposed to marry her, except
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't realize you were saying. Yeah. So what happens at this point is Boaz is like, I want to marry you. And she goes like, by the way, part of the reason, like she kind of gives out Naomi's plan. Like, this is why we like you. Also, we need you in order to get our land back, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, actually, this is like a double win for me. I like you. I would love to marry you. I'd love your piece of land, but there is technically a cousin who is closer related to you who has first right of refusal.
and that was her saying, I'm a close relative. It was saying that like, you're supposed to marry me. Like this blowjob is sanctified.
Right.
Okay.
It's like pre-covered.
It's
It's part of the dowry.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So and he was like, I'm an upstanding dude, so we need to talk to him first because technically, and it's very funny because like as I'm saying this, I'm like modern Adam is going like fucking bullshit, but as a kid, this was like, oh, this is how incredible the guy. Like, not only is he like he's willing to like.
Yeah,
part
what a
with
guy.
The best thing that like the thing that he wants. It's like such a patriarchal bullshit, like of like female ownership. But like he's willing to part with this in order to be an upstanding.
But according to Jewish tradition,
God-fearing man.
according to Jewish tradition, she actually doesn't sleep with him that night. Like that's why she's a good person and he's a good person. Is like that's the whole intention. But then they're both like,
I see.
we recognize that we are both quality.
They put on their promise rings, and then they
Totally.
That seems biblical.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Boaz goes, all right, I'll set up the meeting. We'll connect with this unnamed person. Like, is the cousin ever named?
I did not copy paste that from the Bible part.
don't think it
I
is.
don't think he's named. However, Nick's gonna like this part because you know what Boaz did, Nick?
No.
He sat at the gate.
Oh, the
Fucking
gate.
gate's back.
Yep.
This is more evidence that the gate was super important.
When you have business to attend to, you get your ass down to the gate.
down to the gate.
Now Boaz went up to the gate and sat down there, and behold, the close relative of whom Boaz had spoken by came by.
I guess maybe it is like if that's the one way into the city,
Yes.
everybody's going to eventually go through it.
Sure.
So he is totally unnamed.
But it does also make it seem a little bit like that's where God really works his magic. Like, you need to see this guy? Bam! Goes there.
Yeah. Maybe that.
Come aside, friend. Sit down here.
They have some tea. They share a couple biscuits. They have a chat. And basically Boaz
Take each other's shoes off.
takes other shoes off, sleep at each other's feet, blows in the hayloft. And
Oh,
then,
Nick, you don't know how right you are.
I forgot. Do they do like wash? Oh, it's right. Okay. So they,
Do you remember the sales pitch?
no.
Okay, so Boaz is talking to the cousin, and he's saying like, "Hey, there's this land. Do you want it?" And the guy's like, "Hell yeah!" But then Boaz is like, "But you also have to get married to this girl. She's fine, but like that's part of it." And the guy's like, "Oh no, that's too much," which is a reasonable response.
Yeah. Like, oh, I have to take a family?
Right.
Pass, hard pass. And so the close relative said, "I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I ruin my own inheritance." I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's like he gives up.
Now
his-
here's where it gets fun. Now, this was the custom in former times in Israel concerning, although we're in Judah, which is weird, concerning redeeming and exchanging. To confirm anything, one man took off his sandal and gave it to the other.
Oh, right.
Therefore, the close relative said to Boaz, "Buy it for yourself." So he took off his sandal.
That's what I forgot to say. That's what I missed. So I did miss something. With the husband or like needing the husband thing, they have to buy it from the so Boaz actually has to buy the
I
land
see.
from Naomi. That's what I forgot.
It's probably a good deal, though.
yeah, it'd be a good deal, but also that's basically what Naomi will have to live on for the rest of her life. Like she's selling the property.
That's why she's, yeah.
I missed. That was the thing that I missed earlier. So he says, "You go ahead and do it." And I waive my right. So Boaz.
And he took off his shoe.
took off his shoe,
Sandal.
gave it to Boaz, and then walked away shoeless.
I hope forever.
Wait,
Yeah.
but did they swap a sandal each?
Apparently not. Yeah, dude walks away, and Boaz then like finds Ruth. Who's like, "We did it!" And he buys the land from Naomi. Naomi retires, presumably in a little cottage on the property. Boaz and Ruth marry. They put out a kid that I can't remember the name of, but that kid is the father of Jesse, who is the father of David.
So presumably he is named better than
Obed.
Pestilence or whatever.
Obed. Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but Obed is the father of Jesse, the father of King David.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's to give King David
Important.
I don't know if you remember, Nick. Do you remember the story of Eglon, who was killed by the left-handed swordsman?
Uh-huh.
So Eglon is Ruth's grandfather from Moab.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
And he was honored by God because when his assassin, what was his name?
Can't think of his name. Oh, but it's not. Fuck.
When his assassin came into the room and said, "I'm doing this because of God," Eglon stood up because he honored the God of Israel.
Right. Respect.
And so because of that, he was blessed.
And then stabbed.
I feel like this is a lot of retconning.
Yeah.
And then he was murdered and was super fat. But
they didn't know, and they thought he was sleeping.
Right,
so
right.
they left him alone. No, they basically thought he was jerking off. Right.
something, I don't know.
There's a lot of
Right.
this in the Bible.
So that's kind of the lineage. And now we get all the way to
I see.
David. Adam, you missed one weird thing that really threw me at the end.
Oh.
So yes, they made a small cottage for her on the property.
I assume.
Blah, blah, blah. This is weird though. So Boaz took Ruth. She became his wife. When he went into her, which is the way they phrase it in the Bible, she bore a son. This is where it gets weird. Then Naomi took the child and laid him on her bosom and became a nurse to him.
Oh.
Ugh. Right?
I mean, there is a wet nurse thing, but
Usually it's not your mother-in-law.
Yeah. Right.
And she's they talk again and again how old she is.
Right.
Although, I mean, I know that
Is this some kind of God's blessing magic shit?
Old in the Bible could be 36.
Yeah,
It's true.
but I was also thinking
For reals.
and then I'm thinking in Shakespeare too. They always had these nurses that
Yeah.
were around that were,
But it's usually not the grandmother.
no. But I'm wondering if
weird.
that just means essentially the kid was taken care of, but lived with his grandmother as well. You know what I mean? I wonder if that was the implication. And then they just through in this weird, he also
It just they made it weird right at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just,
But I
was
wonder if
uncalled for.
this might be a this might just be some sort of weird cultural like a misunderstanding. Like maybe it was very common to have, because I mean, like breastfeeding is incredibly calming for children. So maybe it's a thing that it was not weird that
You don't need to make it okay.
I don't know. I'm not trying to make it.
It's weird.
I'm just saying this may be a cultural misinterpretation.
It just seems unnecessary.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't need to be in the story.
So let me throw in my one fun fact besides the like Milwaukee to Chicago. So when they get very specific with the amount of wheat, we're done with the story, by the way, Nick.
Great.
They get very specific with the amount of wheat that she gathers from his field.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in ephah.
Oh.
EPHAH.
Ephah.
Mm-hmm.
So she gathers one, and then later when they're talking, he like gives her a bunch.
Yeah.
But it's very specific. It says like this ephah. So an ephah is a dry measure. You do not need to Google, Nick. I have all this info.
I know.
So here's the thing with dry measures in the like Jewish tradition. It's weird.
Okay.
So the smallest unit is 1.5 or is an egg.
Okay.
That's the smallest unit of dry measure.
And is it the weight of an egg?
It's the volume of an egg. That's the size.
That's tricky.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
1.5 eggs equals 1/4 of a log, which is also the equivalent of a cup of wine. 1.5 eggs. That's a reasonable pour.
Yeah.
6 eggs equals a log, which again, 1.5 is 1/4. 4 logs equals a cob. 6 cobs is a seah. 3 seah is an ephah, which means an ephah is equivalent to 43.2 eggs. It's so weird. Like I thought the imperial system was just fucked, but like this is real weird.
Imperial is like the pinnacle of whatever that was. Like they finally refined it down to 12 to 1.
Like
that's
the way that we think about the metric system and long to be part of it.
They wanted
these people were like, the imperial system's so great.
Oh my God.
It's 12s, man.
Yeah,
it's 12s.
I can do 12s. 43.
There's occasionally 16ths.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Equivalent to the capacity of 43.2 eggs.
I mean, there is like
That's
3
too many eggs for me.
What, 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon?
43.2 eggs, weight wise, not volume, would be incredibly different than that amount of wheat.
Correct.
I think. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's my fun fact. It's fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's also like wheat on stock, or if that's just like the grain itself.
Whatever can fit in the size of 43.2 eggs, Adam.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like
we don't know if they're broken or not, though.
Right.
Is that the contents of the egg
Right.
or eggs? Is it a sack of whole eggs?
Right.
Well, I like the idea that they have individual egg-shaped sacks that they put things in.
Oh, just
like a little drawstring
pasta
pouch.
Oh, I was thinking like the pasta holes for drawing through. Like,
Sure.
That's an ephah. That's an ephah. That's an ephah.
I mean, probably someone did,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I mean, they had to tax it somehow.
Tiny little egg bags.
Yeah. This is insane.
Do you remember those rubber coin purses?
Yes.
That were like hockey puck size,
Yep.
and you squeeze them, and they're like little
Yeah, you
mouths.
get them like free when you open an account at the bank.
Correct.
That.
Did anybody ever use those?
That's like an egg quantity.
I still see old folks using those in the shop.
That's charming.
It's super charming.
How many?
I'm happy that it exists.
How many coins could you fit in those?
Not many.
Okay.
Enough to,
Make change for
scrounge
a
for
buck.
something if you're buying.
143.2 of an ephah.
Yeah, there you go.
Adam.
There you go. Correct. That's the story of Ruth and some added stuff.
Fine.
I mean, it's not a bad story.
No, not at all.
We threw in a lot of commentary.
Yeah, I will probably remember this one.
Oh, okay.
What?
Purge.
Oh, I thought you said purchase. Like,
I'm gonna purchase
I'll
this
buy this one. I'll get this one on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I mean, like it could be summed up in like foreign niece gives uncle blowjob
Cousin.
is
But yeah.
lineage of famous king.
Yes. Well done. Like you just did the headline.
I mean, but
All right.
At the beginning of this episode, we'll say skip to 40 minutes,
Yeah,
and
for
if
the-
you want the truncated
Yeah,
version.
for the TLDR. Yeah. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. And And we're back here on the King James Virgin.
Hey, thank you so much for listening. You can follow us at KJVPod on both Twitter and Instagram to keep up with us. This week, we wanted to ask that if you're enjoying the show and not a Patreon supporter, consider checking it out. Our Patreon supporters get access to our Aesop's Abstinent podcast, some other random stuff that we have on there, but mostly you just be helping us pay for our podcast and website hosting.
There's, I'm proud of the ASAP Abstinent work.
Totally.
It is basically another podcast that you get. So if you feel like hanging out with us an additional time each week,
Yeah.
or not each week, but
Each month.
Yeah. You can do that. And also, I don't know if it'll make it into this episode cut or not, but something that Adam references is available in the Patreon in video form.
Right.
Adam does some splaining of family ties and inheritances, etc.
Yeah, I basically break down how the entire view of masturbation by Christianity is basically predicated on a misunderstanding of like inheritance law.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you hang out at weird times and Nick pulls out his phone. Thanks to Mascaras and Resurrection Records for the use of our theme song, Kixari, off the album El Moran. And this week's Resurrection Records artist is lunch. Not dinner, not breakfast, lunch. Not brunch, lunch. You can find links to these songs, stickers, and other things we have on our website, kingjamesvirgin.com.
That'll do it for us this week. Until next week, think about your most attractive family member.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. It's just wrong.
Sonic Bazaar.